Dame Dollar has been balling out, Rob. 51 points a few days ago against, who was that? Philadelphia? After missing the 2 free throws and getting mocked by Paul George and Patrick Beverly against the Clippers.
Right.
And then last night goes berserk for 61, matching Wilt Chamberlain as the only players in NBA history with 3 games in the same season of 60 or more points. Think about that. Michael Jordan never did it. Kevin Durant hasn't done it. James Harden hasn't done it. Kareem never did it. Shaq, Kobe, it's amazing. And this dude, a 6'2" point guard, did it. Now, I want to say this first, because I was on Undisputed today with Skip and Shannon. And I called it a regular season masterpiece. Shannon called it a virtuoso performance. And Skip, of course, ripped it. I mean, Skip gave him love for 40. Right. He said for 46 minutes and 30 seconds, he was great. And then the last minute and a half, remember, that's when he hit that 3-pointer that bounced off the rim and back down. For last minute and a half, he said he was lucky and not good. What was your take? Or are you more Skip or more with me and Shannon?
It's hard to nitpick on a performance like that. So I'm with the majority, not with the minority in this one. And I mean, he's played well. I just look at, I don't look at him. We know he's a great player. And I use that term, not like the all-time greatest player ever. Right. But he's a great player. He's a great player.
He's on, if he continues this, he'll be in the Hall of Fame. If he continues this. You know what I mean?
He's a great player.
Yeah.
But I'm always looking sideways at Portland, because there are all those other moments, too, where you just wonder. Remember last year, when they got swept out of the Western Conference Finals, it was like they didn't even belong there.
Yeah,
There's just
and
been
Durant
other moments.
wasn't playing.
Am I right? There are other moments that sometimes you just go, what? Even the day anybody can miss free throws, but that was just he's too good, Chris, to miss those in that situation. You agree with that? He's just too good.
Yeah, I mean, and I said this today because Skip, of course, brought up the same things you did about, and Skip went harder at him that he's not clutch and this and that. And I said, look, Skip, I can take every great player ever except Michael Jordan, and this is why I think one of the reasons I think he's the GOAT, and I can find a moment or a game or even parts of a series where they just didn't have it. They didn't bring it. With Magic when in 83 or 84 when he was Tragic Johnson, right? When that's what they were calling him. Larry Bird's
that's a great
first
headline,
finals.
Right? Tragic
That's
Johnson.
awesome.
One of the all-time great newspaper headlines.
No doubt. Larry Bird's first finals had 2 8-point games. Can you imagine if a superstar did that today, how he'd be getting crushed? LeBron, obviously, Dallas in the 2011 finals. Kareem got swept by Bill Walton in the playoffs the year before Magic got there. That's why Jordan, he lost, but I can't point to the moment where you were just like, man, he didn't show up.
Right.
He melted down. He didn't, what I mean?
You even have a meltdown with LeBron and Dallas.
Yes.
There's a meltdown
Magic's
there.
was a meltdown. LeBron's was a meltdown. Yeah.
That's a meltdown. And you could be the biggest LeBron fan. There's no way you could justify what happened. Right?
I don't think LeBron even tries to justify it.
Can't do it.
I think he's like, look, it happened. I had to learn from it. I move on. He knows it was a bad look. I mean, there's just nothing no way you can defend that. But my point is, what I think with Dame is this, Rob, because you kind of hit it on the head when you said, look, we all know he's a great player. Okay? But I think, Rob, he's reached the point. I had him second team All-NBA on my official ballot this year. So my first team guards were LeBron and James Harden. My second team guards were Luka and Damian Lillard. Mm-hmm. You're not putting him ahead of Harden or LeBron, you know, so that's where he was. That's great. But I think now, Rob, in the past, he has been a guy that we all knew was really good. He's a perennial all-star for the most part. But, nobody's holding against him that he doesn't win. You know what I mean? You're not expecting him to win a championship, even be much of a factor. Last year was even strange, with Golden State, and Durant being hurt and Houston goes out, in the second round. The side of the bracket for Portland to get to the conference finals was strange. You know what I mean? So nobody looked at it like, oh, they're close. They're close. But now with these performances, Rob, I think he's going now to the level where now we're going to really scrutinize him. Like now, the only things he can do to kind of get that other level of praise is get an MVP award and a championship. That's it. Like, we're done. We know he's great. Like, look at James Harden. We know Harden is great. He's tremendous. But, nobody's giving him extra praise until he shows he can win.
Right.
And I think that's where Dame's at, right?
Yes, he's at that level, too. I keep saying, like, the Portland Trail Blazers led by Dame is like an old box of Cracker Jacks, Chris, where you eat it, you enjoy the show and enjoy everything, and then at the end, there's no prize at the bottom. Like
they're right. Right. That's a good way to put it.
And you just go like, what? Where's my prize? And I think people have been waiting for it. Last year they had a shot. Like you said, they had a shot. And not only did they not win, they didn't show up for that.
It was almost, granted Golden State had Draymond.
But still,
it was largely Steph and Clay against Dame and CJ.
And if you remember too, Chris, your memory's probably better on the game than me. I don't think he had a great game 7 against Denver to get his team in either. Like if I remember,
I don't remember the exact
Rob G,
numbers of that, but I think that's true. I think that's fair.
I don't remember. I remember, he might have had a bucket or so, but he didn't have like the game 7 that you would have wanted from your star player. I
think that's fair.
That's what I remember.
And that's what he's going, and I said this on the air too, on TV. Now get ready for it. Because it's a compliment that you've jumped the level, right? But now the bar's set higher. So if he gets to the playoffs this year and they play the Lakers and they get swept and he doesn't do much, it's gonna be extra scrutiny on him. It's gonna be an extra level of criticism because of what he's done in the bubble. And so that's where you have to get. But it's interesting. We're kind of on the same page as now he's just got to start winning. And Earl Watson, former player and former coach, he tweeted out right before the game yesterday when Lillard hit 61, he tweeted out that Lillard had the opportunity to join a super team. He didn't say which players and what team, but he said he had the opportunity to join a super team and kind of turned it down. Lillard was asked about it, Rob, after the game. Here's what he said. I wouldn't even say it was somebody offering me to go to another team. It was just something that was constantly being mentioned to me, like you should do this, you should go here. And I just said, that's not what I wish to do. Where I was drafted, I lived there comfortably. My family is comfortable. It's a great organization. The grass ain't always greener. For me, I feel like we can build something and get it done in Portland, and I really believe that. I don't just say it to say it. And now, here's what I'll say,
I want to
Rob.
say this real quick.
Okay, go ahead.
I was right. And Chris, it was worse than we thought. Damian Lillard, 3 for 17 in that game 7. It was C.J. McCollum who carried the team with 37 points. So he was.
How many did Lillard score?
I don't know what the number was, but 3 for 17.
13, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? He didn't show up in the big game 7, and we've seen moments like that as well.
Yep.
That's not to pick on him. That's just facts.
It's just facts, right. But we talked about now it's to the point where he's got to win to get to that extra level. I mean, the MVP, certainly, that would be huge for him. But really, to get to that next level, he'd need to win a championship. And I got to be honest, Rob. Look, I respect anybody. I used to respect this about Allen Iverson when he was like, look, of course I want to win a championship, but I want to do it here in Philly. and I'm going to work my butt off trying to get us that championship. But if I don't get it, I'm good with it. You know, like I want to get it here, and if I don't get it, I'm fine. I'd rather do that than go somewhere else and join a team. Westbrook was the same way. And I get that Dame is that way, and I don't think you can help but respect that.
I'm not mad at people like that.
Right. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I don't think Dame is going to lead Portland to a championship. I mean, unless they bring in a couple other players and basically create a super team there. But so as much as I respect his decision, I got to be honest, Rob, for his career, like for his legacy, let's put it that way, it would be better if he joined a super team. Because everybody ripped. You ripped Kevin Durant. Everybody else ripped him. I didn't rip him, but most people did. But once he won, even though he did it with a 73-win team and a team that won a championship, all he got was praise. And now he's viewed as a two-time champion.
Nah,
LeBron, everybody ripped him.
There's still some people long-term, when you look at Kevin Durant and you put him up against other people, Chris, that will factor in. We've even heard some.
It factors in when you talk about, is he a top 10-ish and all that.
Oh, no,
like we heard
I'm
Walt
just saying.
Frazier, it's in that. But for the most part, Rob, for the most part.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like I was glad you brought up Clyde, because some of the greats in the game don't have as much respect. And I'm not saying that he's not a great player, and he won both MVPs, so it wasn't like he was just on their bandwagon. He was driving the bandwagon, you know what I mean?
Right.
But I still do think that hurts him a little bit.
Well, it's true. I mean, look, you and I, we've said it, we don't put asterisks by championships. However, we acknowledge every championship isn't created equal.
And we talk about nitpicking. When we talk about the greatest of all time, we're going to nitpick. His championships, to me, they aren't as good as the one LeBron won in Cleveland. They just aren't. Now, if he gets one with Brooklyn, I think to both of us, that'll top the two he got in Golden State. 100%.
You know?
Again, it will be winning what a franchise that hadn't won in the NBA, right?
But my point is this, and the same thing happened with LeBron. Everybody ripped him, of course, when he goes to Miami, but he wins. When he wins, everybody praises him, and now he's a champion and so on and so forth. So if if he did join a super team and won a championship, he might be the best player on the team, or, certainly he's going to be 1B or second best or whatever. But if he won, his legacy would go up a notch. That's just how it is. So as admirable as it is to stay put, and I want to build it around me here, this is my team, we can do it. If you won a championship elsewhere with a super team, remember Kevin Garnett, he didn't want to leave Minnesota. And then even when he knew they had Paul Pierce and Ray Allen, he still didn't want to be a part of it. And then finally he gives in, and it was the greatest decision of his career. And so where are you at on that? I mean, again, I won't rip Dame because I think it's admirable to stay there and try to do it yourself. And even if you don't get it, I love that.
I think his legend would be bigger, obviously, if he wins and brings the championship to Portland. And he stayed there, and maybe another player joined him there, Chris, rather than being the third wheel on a two-headed monster.
And I don't think he'd be a third wheel.
I'm just saying,
because he's going to have the ball, number one. But I agree. If he stays in Portland and they trade for somebody, or, he gets some star in there to join him and they win, no doubt it's bigger. But I'm just saying, if he went, let's say, because here's the other thing. Right now, we said it, he's gone to the next level where now he's going to be scrutinized. And now whenever he does something great individually, it's going to be but can he win it? Like there is with Harden, like there is with Westbrook at this point. And so if he went elsewhere and won it, I do think that'd be better for his legacy. Because you win a championship, and if he doesn't win it soon, he may start thinking that way. You know, LeBron didn't think he'd go have to join people. I'm sure Durant probably didn't think he'd have to go join people. You know? But after a few years of the scrutiny, you're like, man, shoot, let me get this monkey off my back. All right, your turn to weigh in. 877-99 on Fox. 877-996-6369. Would it have been better? Remember, apparently he had the chance. Would it have been better for Damian Lillard if he jumped to a super team when he had the chance? Or do you think he'll be able to bring a title to Portland in the future? Your turn to weigh in with Chris and Rob, the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio.
All right, Brandon in Tucson. You're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. What you got, Brandon?
Hey, thanks, guys. I'm saying I think he needs to move on because I think it's a fine line between him being, Isaiah Thomas and Steve Nash. If you're trying to be that one single guy, it's going to be tough. If you look at Isaiah Thomas, he had to do it with the rules of them being the bad boys and everything else just to get that. He wasn't going to get over that hump. I don't know what you guys think.
Well, I think the only way for Dame to become Isaiah Thomas is to do it in Portland with what he has. Because that's what Isaiah had this type of team, right? Where does Dame, as great as Dame is, does he make these dudes better? And he's not a selfish player by any stretch.
No. But when you look at that Pistons team, and that franchise hadn't won anything, Chris.
Right.
I mean,
right.
It wasn't like some winning tradition or something,
Nope.
and Isaiah showed up. He was a top pick because they stunk when he came out of Indiana.
You're right.
Right.
No, he built that team. I mean, Bill Laimbeer was no prize. Rick Mahorn, and I'm not dissing them, but, they were role players.
Right.
John Sally.
He didn't have
obviously
a top
Joe
50
Dumars.
player.
Right. So
Right.
If he went elsewhere, look, it'd still be great for him to win, but it wouldn't measure up to what Isaiah did. And the only way for him to measure up to that is to do it right there in Portland, pretty much with what he has.
No doubt about it. Gary in San Antonio, you're on the Odd Couple Fox Sports Radio. What's up, Gary?
Hey, guys. Hey, so, I just believe that if he moves on, I just believe that'll be, I don't know, maybe a notch against his legacy. I just think that if he sticks around in Portland and does what he's continuing to do now, shooting fire, I just believe that I believe his legacy there in Portland with the people of Portland, his family being there, I just believe.
Well, yeah, okay. He'll get major love in Portland. Yeah,
Gary,
he'll be a hero
no doubt
there.
about it.
But here's
No
the
doubt.
question, Gary. If he goes elsewhere and wins versus if he stays in Portland and never wins it, but, it's great, maybe end up a Hall of Famer, but they never win a championship, probably never even get to the finals, which legacy is better to have?
Me, I feel that the legacy of what I feel like doing it the right way is by staying there, building a team around him. And I know they probably don't have a lot of money or a lot of pieces to be able to deal to get somebody to come in. But, they got him and CJ. I don't see any reason why they couldn't just get some role players, some 6, 7, 8 men.
Or they make a trade and get one other
thing,
player.
Too. Here's the thing. Look, Jusuf Nurkic is not bad at all. I like him. Yeah, you mentioned CJ. Melo in this role, Rob, is good in this role. They could use Trevor Ariza right now for sure because they need a wing defender, and but they got some pretty good players. You see Gary Trent Jr. We'll see if he can keep this up. But they've been swept the last 2 years in the playoffs, and they've got pretty decent players.
No doubt about it. Marty in Kentucky, you're on the Odd Couple, Fox Sports Radio. Marty, what's happening?
Not much, fellas. I enjoyed watching both of you on your appearances on TV today.
Thank you, brother.
Yes, and I saw your tweet. Marty liked the jacket, the salmon jacket I was wearing today, right, Marty?
Marty, was that salmon or pink?
It was fly. It don't care what color it was. It looked
That's
good
a
on
nice way of saying pink.
He loved it.
Diss my man.
He
bought
loved
my
it.
son
Marty
some
loved
jeans.
It doesn't matter if it's
stop
pink.
it.
I can't wear pink.
I can wear pink. I'm not dissing it.
Every
I'm
time,
just-
Marty, every time you say something now, it has something to do with the Jordans that I bought River. Well, he's not going to say anything because, he bought
I
River
know you
Jordans.
bought his loyalty.
If it looks good, it looks good. I can't wear pink. White guys don't look good in pink. I'm
Right.
sorry. So-
I agree. I don't
You're
think
Rob,
so.
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Certain guys.
that's I'm looking at it again
don't look
now.
as good on
It's
him as it does you, Rob.
Oh no, it would look. Yeah, my skin is white. It would look good on me.
No,
that
it
is
would look-
pink though.
What?
That is pink, Rob.
It
There's no.
said
I'm looking at it
salmon
right now. That's why you got that frown on your face.
No.
But you about made Shannon cry when you said Jordan was the only one that never did come up short. So
Am I wrong?
You were right, but it was. But
Right.
I thought Shannon got up in his feelings. But I'll get to the point, guys. I'm small talking too much. Portland really reminds me of Golden State right before they reached that level of where you knew they could compete for a title. For several years, they were getting better. They were in the upper 40s and wins, then 50s, then mid-50s. And then a small tweak, they started passing the ball 1.4 more times per possession. And all of a sudden, it's like, wow, these guys are good.
Right.
I think Portland's a small tweak away from being right there at the top. And I would love it if Dame, as good as he is, as great as he is, if he sticks there and tries to do it there, because we just don't see that often anymore.
Well, that tweak, Marty, was the coach.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good, and Mark Jackson did a great job there, but you can't deny Steve Kerr took him to another level. He found the perfect offense for those guys. And I'm with you, because they do. It's a lot of dribbling by the guards, and I agree. If you go to like more of a Golden State type system there, then yeah, that could take them to a whole nother level. Terry Stotts would be wise to look at doing something like that